Hello there, friends. Welcome to my channel, Joy to the World. I am Melissa Joy. So, what a day. What a few days. It's interesting being alone all the time that there are humans to witness my pain. Undisguisable kidney pain sucks. And it's like, oh, I can't keep battening down the hatches. A lot of pain in people's bodies are unresolved situations, like unspeakable things that you go through, like unfathomable things, like someone who's been abused couldn't fathom ever abusing someone, right? That's the life university. And how do we leave that node, that seesaw, that tipping point of the abused versus the abuser? It's like, well, I would never be an abuser, so sometimes we just keep going round and round about in that over and over again, living out those scenarios, right? And there's a strong push to awaken the dreamer from the dream, from the nightmare, from that sequence where you have no power except to live out what lay before you. Some wild energies unearthing on me today. There's been lots of people and interruption all around here, so very little opportunity to record, with noise and other things going on. And my connection prefers to be undistracted because I already have a lot of squirrels that kind of around me. But apparently in these last weeks, because there's kind of a flip or like a necklace coming all the way around to connect with situations since May. Probably that Scorpio moon is what I would think while we're in the eclipses, because, hold on. This is showing up. And this Lovers, this soulmate type card has been one that has just played out over and over and over again as these distorted forms of love, needing to have a counterpoint, a balance point with one in order for that song to be played. An abuser needs someone to abuse, right? How do we come into the wholeness? Not just the wholeness now, right here. They were talking about cleaning out space while I'm recording next week's readings. There's a reason I always stay a week ahead. There's a spiritual reason and a physical reason to have them prepared for you so that the door will be open for all when they do come out. And that it aligns with the energies when they arrive so that it'll be right on time instead of having to be at the airport a week early. Do you get what I'm saying? So one of the readings, I'm thinking it was Aquarius, but it was, talking about making room, stretching out, allowing that space, those things to be cleared so that the new comes in and fills that space. And there are just so many devastating and difficult things that are like, as my mom said, she didn't know she was talking about any of that, but she was using the word decompose this morning when she meant decompress. But decompress the decomposure going on inside of you. And it was interesting because in that reading, it was also the living being shrouded with death. So it separates it from life, because like ourself trying to be in our nature, but our nature wasn't to kill or be killed, to prey upon or be preyed upon. That's life university. That's what we've been taught. That's how they started the spinner right off counterclockwise, right? To get us into that where it's hard and there's a struggle and there's something to fight for and to fight with and to fight against and to rise up above in order to have some sense of victory, some sense of achievement. But those are more human-wired than hardwired. Not exactly our nature. Our nature is way more organic, about living, expressing, experiencing, witnessing, watching, opening, observing. They're not passive-aggressive techniques. It's not passive at all. It's active for show. Okay, and that has a lot to do with Scorpio, because Scorpio is the asshole. Okay, thank you. It is that, and it's the mouth. It's the alimentary canal. It is where the vagal nerve is highly responsive. And that's where it begins and ends, up here in the mind. So thinking with the tail first and going to the head, that means you'll eat shit the rest of your life. So either be a shiz eater or a shiz giver, or full of bullshiz and all that kind of stuff. And it's time to move on from that, to get into the ease and into the clarity and into the truth, where your truth becomes your reality. That's where all those magical things are, like opportunity and serendipity and synchronicity and relationship. Okay? There's a two or a one. There's a relationship or there's a ministry. Ministry is a one-way street. You serve me, you serve me, you serve me. A relationship is, wow, there's an us. Oh, how neat. Oh, how fantastic. Look how easy it is to navigate, to move all around and to relate and to connect. That's why it's called a relationship. Okay. Two equally yoked parties, and not yoked like tied. It says, how can two walk together unless they agree? It doesn't mean you have to have the same viewpoint or outlook on life. It just means you're of equal vibration. Like your shoes being the same size. You're not putting a 10 on one foot and a 2 on the other, or 2 left shoes or 2 right shoes, or a flip-flop in a shoe. Ask anybody who's had to wear a boot for a leg or ankle or foot injury. That messes up the alignment of the spine. It messes up the alignment, which really hypersensitizes that vagal nerve, which can cause things to get out of proportion, blown out of proportion, the nervous system to react rather than evaluate and respond, rather than consider and respond. Okay, or consider and not respond, right? Oh, whatever it's talking about in your best interests. Because we're not here to continue to be provoked by life and others in the world around us. In life, I mean the ongoings of a day, not the big force of life that I'm usually talking about. But so anyways, difficult, challenging things were popping up to my mind, stuff that I totally forgot. And I mean, they were profound and shocking when they happened. Things of lies and distortion and sickness, you know, being hurled onto my children from abusers. I mean, like twisted stuff. My body didn't know what to do with it and tries to move it down like digestion, right? Because my mind forgave, my heart forgave, but my body didn't. It was lodged in there. How? If you don't have enough time to process, or you don't even know how to process, and you don't know how your body processes or what your process is, joy is a fast releaser of it. Because the first thing that stops when we go through trauma is joy. You could even be doing your favorite things and you're mindless on them. You didn't even taste your food. You didn't, or you lost your taste for food. You see what I'm saying? Even some of the basic things. We're here to restore that, to reclaim it. But anyways, my mother's sitting there like, oh, don't curse yourself, don't curse yourself. I said, I'm not, Mom. I don't even think on that. I didn't even remember that. But that really happened. I said, I'm letting it up and out right now, because now there is space to release that from me, so that it's not festering and turning this beautiful life, this gift of a body and a temple, into a living graveyard, zombified, right? Those things in our body can cause sickness, pain, turmoil, karma. I remember, if some of you listen in often, we talked about that tent peg, right? Taking something physical and tangible, because those snares of our body get trapped in connection with that situation, thus that person, almost like a legal case, right? And you could just, I literally see the old wooden ones that they showed, like they'd hammer down for circus tents, and it'd make the top kind of dome, splinter and feather out and dome. It's almost like that, you know? Because it's all the woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Broken promises, lies, treachery. But hammering that thing down in your yard, or even if you don't have a yard, a pot of soil, and just hammering it down, and then just naming what that situation is as it came to your mind, and just getting breath moving through your body and moving through your body. And if those memories and feelings are there, allowing it to rise up and pluck that thing out and get rid of it. And say, this is released from my body. I am released from this curse. This is not mine. I'm free and clear. My body is open and receptive to the blessings of life and the truth of who I am, and to enjoy my joys, to enjoy my life, to enjoy my living. this gift of love inside of me, which is for me to love myself. And I have to play into the biggest karmic factor, which is those nodes, that moon, the mindedness, this lunar moth. These things have been going through the family line forever and ever and ever and amen. It was funny because as I was bringing it up to my mom, she's like, oh, well, you know, they were probably this and that as a child and a person. That doesn't speak to my body. My heart and my mind already forgave. I'm fully aware of all that. But my body is like, you stole from me, you took from me, you robbed from me. I am in suffering because of it. I am in debt because of it. That's karmic, right? So pulling it out and clearing that energy so that you're no longer blocked. You're no longer blocked with this swimming upstream with your life, your eggs, in order to die for it. And to die for something like that, like, you know, I know this is a Luna moth, but in the hornworm, they show up a lot here where I live. And people could be like, oh, how amazing, oh, how beautiful, oh, how wonderful, because they have a grocery store. What if we didn't have all those fancy little things? And you saw one flying by and no one ever told you that, hey, that's the hornworm moth. And you'll be like, well, tell me what that is. What does that mean? You'll be like, remember that time your tomato plants got utterly devoured and decimated in a few days' time? And you're like, yeah, we were really hungry that year. We had nothing to put up for the winter in regards to tomatoes. And you'd be like, yeah, that big, fat, nasty green thing that I showed you, that's a hornworm. You know, you don't try and catch the moths. You get the worms and you destroy them, so you break down their life cycle right where it's within your reach. And these things are like hornworms, predators fighting for your life force, because they feed off of that life, off of that green. The only life they feed is their own, and they bring death for humans. Where there's lushness and beauty, they're just going to begin to hack away at it, and they grow rapidly. So, how do we gain our body as a body of life, as a vessel of life, as a vessel of joy? Is this something that's sacred and holy and honorable, and that's not just all shalom? We're talking about where it can flow and move freely like a fountain. And as it fountains out, it waterfalls down. How beautiful, how refreshing, how amazing, how pertinent, and how important you are. How important that is to your sense of self, your sense of being loved, because you feel loved, and not these actions outside of you, like your body feels like it loves you back. Like, you know, you've got a busy day and it's things that you love to do and you don't fizzle out in the middle of it, or your back doesn't go out and you have to pay for doing it. You see what I'm saying? Or you have the memory, the ability, the willingness, all those things working together. Isn't that beautiful? Which, by the way, beauty is the pinnacle of life. It's the zenith. Beauty is anything that is filled with life. Whether the form, like there are countless bald cypress around here, and each of their bases and roots are different. Their cypress knees are different. Some of the feathering of their pollen tendrils are different. Their cascades and movement. But each one is full of life, and each one is beautiful, and it has a different expression, a different meaning, just like you do. And I want you to be full of you. That those old soul scars, those old testimonies, those old things still sitting there crying out against you, insulting your flesh, nonverbal, right? And we don't understand what it is. Getting those things cleared out by the power of love, and universal love. When we all come together, it's available to us all, and it doesn't diminish, because it's a relationship as well. The all for one, the one for all, right? Yeah, that's the beauty and the balance at the center point. I said, Mom, I don't need you to defend those people. I'm fully aware of all that. It's not about the people. It's about what I've witnessed and seen, and that was still in my body, and it was deep, and I felt it move up like a person who hadn't had oxygen in years, gasping for breath, finally being released. So how and what all to do, I don't know. Maybe the messages were hidden in this message. Maybe it's simply hearing it and having it revive for yourself and going, that's why I don't just do the manifesting and whatever, the naming and claiming and just saying out of your mouth because your body feels differently. And they say, put your body in that state, that this, that, and whatever. I am very happy and joyful because that's who I am. But these things were like little tombstones, space and time, right? That's what that dash is the space. And then the time stamped on there, and they were squatting like mission controls and, you know, the nucleus of different areas of my body, communication centers, feedback. How do you think pain resonates up to your brain? It has to have a communicator, all right? And that's how these little creatures in there, they're these little organs, proprioceptors. They do that, okay? Massage therapists. But we won't get too deep into that. But just the fact of knowing that that's why it maybe hasn't sat right with you, or set right with you, depending on how it is for you, friend. And once that's brought to your awareness, your spirit and your soul can guide you on this and the release of that. It might be instantaneous. I'd love that for you. Instantaneously coming online, and no more being usurped by these other things that you can't see, touch, taste, feel, or smell, but you are experiencing with grievous pain or feelings of rejection or neglect or separation or being unloved. Do you see what I mean? Wow. Hopefully this beauty around me has brought you something special as well. You are special, you are valuable, you are important, and you are loved. You deserve to have the fullness of who you are, the full measure. You are here. And it's your time to get to enjoy your joy. You know? I love you forever. All right? Subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. We'll chat soon.